Okay, so hello. Great and awful. Awful. Both. This video is gonna be both because it's great and because it's awful. We're gonna have the subject, as you see below, racism. And racism not specifically in America and in some extent also all around the world, because it's something so natural, so present in our environment that sadly it's all around the world. It's very hard to find a place where this doesn't exist. And yes, so before starting the video, because today we are talking specifically about values, about ethics, about things we shouldn't do, how we can be inclusive, and many of these ideas, I want to show you a book that I never recommend because I focus so much in other books. And as you know, or maybe you don't know because the first time you look my videos, I'm a writer. I write books, I study, I invest my money, I do so many things, I work in interesting stuff, and then I share my knowledge on YouTube too. So the book I'm gonna share with you today is one of the small books I wrote. Sometimes I gift it away, but today let's sell it, as I do with my book in investments. That's much easier to sell. This book is called The 10 Gurus. Okay, it's a small book of 30 pages and includes a lot of values. And the 10 gurus are 10 of the main gurus in our religion in India, the Sikhs. And why 10? I like it because it goes very well with an introduction I did talking about the 10 commandments. And then these 10 gurus are like a new point of view to watch our 10 main values, but more expanded, and learning from each one of these ones that are historical figures in Punjabi, India. And yeah, this idea, the 10 commandments are the most godly thing you can find. In the same way, what this book shows is it's a godly thing. We talk a lot about values, as we are going to talk today about racism. So I'm not going to talk a lot about this book. I just wanted to quickly recommend it to you. It's one of the things I offer in my catalog because I was the one who wrote it, and I'm the only one offering it because I didn't finish it long ago as my book in investments. That I always talk about that one because sadly people don't want to learn about values. They are more interested about making money, right? That's one of the issues. So today we're going to talk about racism, okay? And one of the subjects that we're going to talk related with racism comes from a second book which I didn't wrote, but I recommend a lot, which is Negotiation Genius. This book was written by some Harvard professors, Deepak Malhotra and Max H. Beiserman, and it's an excellent book that not only talks about negotiation, not only talks about transactions, sales, business. It also found a very good way of talking about the racism, especially in interactions between people and negotiations. And in that book, it talks about it too. And one of the things we're going to talk today comes from that book. But then the first thing I wanted to do was to define racism specifically. This is not a woke video. This is not trying to increase the fire that, actually there's a huge, I don't know how to say in English, like when there's a lot of fire in a forest, it's currently is a mess. People made a religion around this, and it's quite a cult. And I hope that if we define racism, if we specifically talk about where it is, how it appears, why it appears, we can define and we can attack it, destroy it, or accept it, because sometimes we find issues that are so embedded in the culture, are so difficult to solve, that the only thing we can do is move on. There are so many issues around the world that we decide to do nothing about them. And I don't say racism is one of those, but today we are going to analyze it with precision and understand it. Then the second thing I wanted to talk about is this is very, very important. I'm very happy that I found the space to mention this, is how colleges or education in general, because it's a world you cannot get into college without completing the previous steps. So the all education and college especially plays a role to fight against discrimination and solve some of the issues that today we are going to observe. They are extremely hard to solve for many reasons. But maybe if we describe precisely what it is, we can find solutions to fight against it. Okay, so the first thing we have to understand about racism and understand it well, not in a woke, crazy way as people understand it, that it's just like a bunch of kids complaining instead of being people who want to understand it. This is a scientific video in some way, and many of the things I talk today maybe are not at the level of a law in science, but are already theory, because it's proven that human beings are this way. So if we want to understand human beings, it's good to understand psychology. Okay, and I think in previous videos we talk about this, how human beings, it says in psychology, we are all the time negotiating our identity. Okay, and how we negotiate our identity and the outcomes we get from these negotiations play an enormous role and affects our lives enormously. People that get successful results from the negotiation of identity often are defined as the groups who are privileged. Sometimes this is a product of skill. Sometimes you can become a better negotiator of identity of who they are. Other times, this is a product of privilege. Some people are good to naturally convince others that they have certain identity. And then also we have racism. People who despite they know how to negotiate their identity, despite they do the things well, they don't achieve results because of race, because of biases other people have. And if we come from this first idea, that we are all the time negotiating our identity. Second thing, the negotiation of our identity is going to affect our income. It's going to affect who we become. And basically that's the biggest thing. How we successfully negotiate our identity is going to change who we become. And people who fail to negotiate their identity correctly has higher risk of falling into lower income jobs. This is very bad. This is the product of racism in a big way, but also is the product of people who don't know how to negotiate. So negotiating our identity when we are little means that we are all the time trying to convince the adults around us that we want to be certain thing. If we negotiate well, our environment is going to believe that we can become that. If we negotiate bad, people is not going to support us, it's not going to help us. So what's the problem is when people don't believe that children can become certain things because of their race, or because of their background, or because of the money they have or that they don't have, because of their region, where they were born, things like this. Many ways of systematic racism, many ways of plain racism. I don't want to use those terms. It's plain racism, or sexism sometimes because it's based on gender, or sometimes it's based on countries, others, or neighborhoods. So when we are children, this negotiation of our identity is vital, but then when we are adults, especially if we become successful adults, we have something to offer. We have one benefit, one good thing we can do, that we can use it to do good for others, to bring benefits to others. And the negotiation of our identity doesn't go around getting help. Now it's more serious. It gets around convincing others that I have an identity that you are interested in, that I am a person who have an identity that can help you. I'm capable of doing something. Okay? And when you are adults, this negotiation becomes even stronger, even more important. So this is the psychological side. So we can precisely define it. Okay, so now we are going to precisely define what racism is in a situation. Imagine this. So we have this negotiation of identities. This can be for a job position. This can be for a school admission. This can be for exchanging a service, simply a service, not something as heavy as employment, but just you hiring me to get a service. So one person has to negotiate their identity, of course, with the person who needs the service. So this person starts telling the person, many things about himself, so he can convince this, sending a signal to this part, saying, I can help you in this way, I'm capable of doing this, I'm trustworthy, so I can do it fine. And even this person is this is very important, because results many times are more important than your race, more important than ever. If you want to be a good salesman in anything, what is important is your results. That speaks a lot about who you are. So you have very good results, you try to convince the person, okay? So the person is going to give a signal, yes or no. If this person says yes, we are creating a connection between people. Yes, come here, Makoto. This is my cat. I'm sorry. She loves to appear on camera. Okay. So if this person says yes, it's creating a bond, a connection. And in the middle, value is going to be created. And if value is high, if you are offering something that's extremely valuable and it's obvious that you did it, this person now has the power of charging this other person money for this service. And this amount of money is going to be based on the different amount of value. And Makoto again is blocking the camera. Okay. More value for your customer or your client or your boss means that you have the right to get more money. And this is why these dynamics happen so much in the world. People is trying, of course, to earn money. That's how economy works. And yes, that's how economy works. So if the person say yes, the bond is created. If the person say no bond is created. This person has to look for other customer, and eventually, if all the people say no, we create poverty, because this person didn't have the chance of providing the service. So racism happens when this part has the same speech, sometimes the same results, or to don't be so perfectionist, we can say higher results, good professional, higher results, same speech, same presentation, all the same. But the person says no. Okay? And then a person who is similar in all the aspects related with character. Okay? Same higher results, same skills, same speech, same presentation, all the same. But the person ends up saying yes because his race is different. Maybe because this person was white, or maybe this person was Indian. But we were talking about, computer science. So this person have a bias that all Indian people are good for, that are good for that job. So say yes to this person because of the feeling he got due to his race, due to his origin, due to his gender sometimes. In negotiation for jobs, there's a term called the beauty premium that applies for women. Women sometimes in some negotiations just get accepted or get paid more because of the beauty, things that are exterior instead of interior. So that is discrimination in some sense. That's precisely defining what discrimination is. Same speech, same character, high results, both of them, but one gets no because of the race, religion, etc. Okay? In the same way, we can talk about when we are talking about situations when we got the yes. Racism happen when a person, due to these superficial reasons, or some reasons related with cults, with social manipulation. That's it's very common within religions, because of reasons related with race, gender, religion, etc. One person ends up getting paid more for the same service, or even sometimes doing less, because of these factors. Because of the factors of how you look, where are you from, how you speak, things that aren't related with the service itself that's being discussed or whatever is being discussed. Maybe it's just a casual conversation between people where you are negotiating your identity, trying to prove others that you have something important to say. Maybe you right now, you're not listening to me, and you don't give me authority because of how I look. And that's in some way, it's racism. You're not judging my speech based on my character, checking if what I'm saying is truth or not, if I'm making sense. You just base your opinion in a race, okay? So, or how I look, And from my side, what I can do with time, getting older, showing you my authority using credentials, etc. That's things I can do from my side. But from your side, maybe you are not listening to me because of racism. So in the same way, this can happen. And sometimes people that get a yes in the middle and produce value, some people might get paid more because of how they look, because of their gender. And this is very difficult to manage because we are talking about situations that go out of the heart of people. It's like a natural thing. How much you tip to a person, that's something natural. It's something that it can be measured, but there is racism in there. Maybe a person that was your same race or was white, does a great job, so he gets a nice tip, while a person that wasn't that race doesn't get it. These things are very hard to measure because this is natural from you. If you want to pay extra, how we can measure if you are being different. You don't realize it, okay? So in the book Negotiation Genius, they talk about negotiations between service providers and companies that have affirmative action. They have so many of these stupid policies to make sure they're not racist. But then when they were looking at the numbers, the manager was facing offerings from people that were offering exactly the same, but he had a tendency to accept white people. Well, even when the people from different cars offered the same, with all the affirmative action that made sure that the guys had a chance to present, so they have a diversity at the moment of hearing providers, etc. But at the moment of the decision, they were biased. This book is teaching you how in negotiation, how to create the maximum value and how to analyze people because of their character, so you don't miss opportunities because of your racism. So you don't end up losing the opportunity of hiring someone from a race that suffers racism, that has have a greater offer, and so you don't miss the opportunity of hiring that because of your biases. So this is the dynamic, okay? So we have people who might say yes to some people because of race, or that we pay more based on race, sex, whatever, many reasons, because they share the same school or because they like the same subject of conversation. Many of these things can arise. So now that we define racism very precisely, maybe we can start doing more things about it. But of course there's more to talk about that. But I want to move to the second half of the video, which is about the subject, universities, and the role they play to fight against racism. Why universities are so important, and sadly, when we see the races that suffer the most from racism and other ways of attacking others because of cultural difference, those are the races that often have more cultural problems that block them from attending university. Because it is true that different races have different cultural backgrounds, and cultural backgrounds can bring issues. This is true, and but universities play an enormous role. But before going to that subject, I just want to say a last thing from my own experience. Okay, why companies are not going to stop being racist? Let me explain you this so you understand before we explain why universities are so important. Why companies are not will not stop being racist? Because it's expensive. Okay, so it is expensive because racism is based on knowing your enemy. This very famous quote in business: know your enemy, so you can save time. So you make a lot of assumptions about the other part based on their color of skin, based on their nationality. You invent a bias in your mind, a story that sometimes can be truth or a complete lie, sometimes can be in the middle, so you can save yourself time. So companies might not stop being racist because it's expensive. In my personal experience, because I wrote this book, I'm better negotiator. Sometimes, I got offers from people that were black, who are from races that were usually discriminated. Okay, and they offer something to me. So then my mind, that is very smart, I try to be one step ahead of people. I'm start to make suppositions about them because it's natural, and I will not change that because this is a skill. I don't have this because I'm racist. I have this because it's a skill, so I can understand the persons I negotiate with. Okay, I know things. I know things about their culture. I like to study different cultures and their situations. So I start making assumptions about this person. Okay, that's bad. And then I tell myself, okay, I'm gonna judge this person from his character. Okay, I'm gonna give this person a chance. So I give this person a chance to meet with me and talk a little bit and realize if this person actually is good. But then I have all these red flags. So myself, because I don't want to waste time, I start making questions to this person. So I can quickly realize if this person is different, or if this person carries all the cultural disadvantage that I'm supposing this person have. So I make some quick questions to quickly realize that, and then if it's good, if this person surpass their cultural changes, I will indeed give up a chance to this person. If this person doesn't surpass these challenges they can have, I'm gonna reject this person, not based in race, based in that this person didn't educate themselves, didn't change. They stayed within the flaws of their own culture. Okay, as white people can stay within the flaw of being racist, other cultures can stay within the flaws of their own culture. So I make some quick questions, and man, 80% of the times I realized that the suppositions I had weren't completely right, but were quite right. This person was the person I expected, and not because I was being racist, but because this person never changed. And as true as the fact that racism exists, it's true that every culture have different challenges, and cultures are different. And cultures in their natural state don't qualify for being hired. These persons need to be educated and change, and if they don't change, they don't qualify. And that's not racism, that's rejection based on merit. Okay, but what I'm saying is that companies, when they open their mind to not be racist, they end up interviewing a lot of people that, rather than proving you that you are wrong, they teach you why people was racist with their cultures or communities in the first time, in the first place. Okay, well, a small percentage prove you that you're smart for not being racist, and that this person is different, and this person deserves a chance. Okay, so this is why what I'm trying to say to you is that this is why companies will not stop being racist. It's too expensive. Racism is not only a bad thing and evilness, it's also a mechanism, a desperate mechanism to save time. You know, if we use a strong example, for example, Ashkenazi Jews, they have an IQ average 115. Jews sometimes are the most racist culture that I ever saw, because they are very exclusive and often only hire people within that community. But in some way, this, if this is racism, is a business move too, okay? Because they get a benefit from it. So what I'm trying to say is that the process of them opening themselves to work with a wide diversity of people is expensive for them. Companies might push companies, like politicians and movements might push companies to become diverse, but their nature is to save money and spend as little money as possible. So they are naturally inclined to be racist. That's the first thing I have to say. So what's the role that universities play against racism? Okay, now we can speak about this, now that we are very precise about what is the situation of the world. Universities play an enormous role to fight against racism because they change the nature of this negotiation I was describing, where you are trying to negotiate your identity with an employer. For this example, let's use work interviews for this example. Universities change this dynamic. When you are an entrepreneur like myself, that I wanted to start working early and do businesses, it's very tough for you because you have to brutally negotiate your identity with people. You have to prove them that despite you are young, that despite you didn't finish university, you are capable of doing something. You have to negotiate that, and you start from a very weak spot, and you really have to show your strengths if you want to have any chance of succeeding in this negotiation. But college changed the dynamic, and college helps this part which is inclined to be racist, as I explained you before talking about this, to move the negotiation in a different way. When you spend 6 years in a college preparing for jobs, to get a title, to get a license, maybe to a job there is a shortage of people. When you go to the job interview, it doesn't matter if you're black, if you're yellow, if you're a woman, if you're transsexual, it doesn't matter. The negotiation starts. These people study 6 years and have all the licenses needed for a job that I really need. So this is the mentality now of this part. We transform a racist person or a racist negotiation part into a guy that is completely focused in this idea that you are rare. So now that you are rare, it doesn't matter what's your color. It doesn't matter what's your sex, because you are rare. The negotiation doesn't go towards that way. So in this environment, that after you study 4 years, maybe 2 years in an associate degree, the negotiation with your employers change. And this might open a lot of doors for you, and this will help you to fight against the discrimination that you will find in the world. Okay? And that's it. For example, myself, I may struggle to negotiate my identity with people because I'm white, but my face is stained. I ruined my skin. I don't take care of my skin. When I was little, myself, I take care of my teeth, but I remove my braces. My teeth aren't perfect, so I can negotiate with you that I come from a good background. Just with you looking at me. So I might struggle with these negotiations. How I defend myself from racism? I have higher results. As you know, if you follow my videos about investments, I have amazing results with my fund, my investments. If I show you my numbers, I impress you. It doesn't matter so much how I look now, because my results are so good. That's how I can defend myself. But even having all those defenses, I still struggle because of how I look. So what I'm saying is, after you study 6 years, college might help everybody, even people that are in a worse situation than I, that look even worse than what I look. College might help them to change the dynamics of the negotiation, this negotiation of identity, because now you are rare, so it doesn't matter your color anymore. Also, you're older. That's a plus. And that's why college helps you so much. Now this person is not so worried about you negotiating your identity and proving them that your identity is what he's looking for. Now this person is focusing what he must be focused, that is checking out some small details, like if you are really willing to do that job, if you are really willing to work all the hours that they need, if you are okay with the pay structure. This person starts being helpful because now this person is focused in small details that can help both parties to arrive to what? To the yes. And when the yes arrives, as I told you, you create value in the middle. And if you create a lot of value, this part can claim a lot of money. If it's less value what is being created, it's less money, less pay. And but you have to come to the yes in the middle. And the negotiation of identity is incredibly important. And racism, that's the thing. This video is about the racism. Racism is this evil force that gets in the middle and makes very difficult for people to get yes, to get a yes. And racism blocks people. And when you see Jewish people, they are so privileged. They are so good at making business, working by their own, being their own boss, because in their communities there's less racism between them. There's less barriers between them. In the same way, white people might be good for real estate, or Indian people might be better to convince their parents that they want to study programming and computer science. As you know, Indian people here in America are one of the richest races. They study a lot science, technology, engineering, mathematics. They don't struggle to convince their parents or their community that they want to do that because it's so common. The negotiation of identity goes well based on race, in culture, in nationalities, and many aspects. So racism is what is in the middle. And the last message is that colleges play a role to fight against racism. Because if you don't have a college degree, this negotiation is going to be brutal. You're gonna need to find defenses, results, things that you have to do to prove that despite you look bad, or despite you don't have the race the other guy likes, you have results, you have strengths, but then you have to prove it. And that's very difficult sometimes based on your race, and that's why racism sucks, but it's a reality. And how schools and universities help you? They put you on this track when you come to this war, this battle you are going to have with the other part, you are in a better standing, and the other part has help, has that college degree in your resume that will help them to take that racism. Is there, my friend. Is there. I guarantee you is there. So build strategies to fight against it. One of those strategies is to go to college. It's a good one. There are many. I'm not gonna say that's the only one. I don't want to close, I don't want to destroy your creativity. Probably there are many strategies you can take, but college is one of those. These were things I start thinking, not because I always thought this, but lately I took very good decisions in my life, not only in investments but also in educating myself. I went to college. I started realizing, I'm happy about maybe ending up being a professor one day if my business go wrong. So I'm happy that I'm going to college. But then I started thinking, wow, yeah, actually, why I'm happy? It's because I'm taking decisions that are helping me to deal with all these monsters I'm surrounded of. All these racist, discriminative, self-interest monsters I'm surrounded of. And I'm taking decisions that help me to fight against them. That's why I'm so happy. Now I started realizing that. Okay, so what's if we want to fight racism? What's one of the important things we have to do? We have to encourage people to go to college. That's a way they can defend themselves against it. And and it won't work to pressure companies to not be racist. They will naturally be like this, because it's a way of saving money and interviewing the right people. It's one of the techniques they use. If it works for them, they are going to follow the money. In the same way you should follow the money. Negotiation, find a good standing, and college is going to give you that. Okay, so a second thing we can do to fight discrimination, first we have to convince the most discriminated people to go to college. That's one challenge. Second thing is colleges are very expensive. We have to find ways to tackle that, and capitalism is immensely powerful. Maybe we can, right now many colleges have big endowments. If they invest their money well, maybe that's one service I would like to give in the future as financial service advisor, help colleges to use all that money that was donated to them. Some colleges have billions of dollars, but they cannot donate those billions of dollars to students that need financial aid, because those funds are meant to be there to grow and have the college to be rich. But what they can do is invest that, get a lot of income, and from that income, they can pay financial aid. So let's hope universities keep making a lot of money, but at the same time being sane and deciding to help these people that are facing all this racism in the world and need some help, so they can study, and they can study in colleges where they feel safe. And and I hope colleges can do that. And that's the second way of fighting against racism. As I told you, and a third thing, yes, we can try to educate society so they are less racist, so they try to judge people by their character, as Martin Luther King said. But it's anti-natural, as I explained to you some minutes ago. It's anti-natural. Companies are gonna try to save costs, and yeah, they're gonna save costs. So expect from them to keep being racist. It's part of the world, and I hope this woke culture that's so mad about it, they can calm down a little bit and start accepting it, because it's part of the world, and probably it's gonna keep being part of the world. People's not gonna learn if it makes them money to be racist. The best examples about that are religious groups. As I told you, very rich Jewish networks of individuals benefit from this racism based on religion, as for example Mormons in Utah. Right now it's a situation in Utah with the Mormons. Despite they are quite inclusive, Utah is quite a successful case of social mobility. So we have to be fair with these people, but the reality is that they are racist. So it's part of the world. The world natural state is to be diverse and full of religions and different people, different colors. So it's going to be natural that if we allow all that diversity, racism is going to come with it. So yeah, the third thing is learn to accept the things that will never change, and learn to be wise and advise people how to face those challenges that are gonna face, because the world is what it is. So that's the last message. Remember, one of the best ways to fight racism is just to go to college, finish that degree, and I hope you remember my words, and those help you to take good decisions. In the same way you can be an entrepreneur. Just having consideration this difficulty you're gonna have with negotiating your identity. Some questions you can make yourself is: I'm in a strong position to negotiate my identity. I have a target that is less racist. Sometimes black people, black human beings are very good to create companies around selling some products that the black culture only buys. I saw cases of success. But then you can make an analysis based on what project you want to become an entrepreneur in. Mark Zuckerberg made Facebook, yes, but Mark Zuckerberg was Jewish. Look at you and tell yourself, I'm in a good position to negotiate my identity. What strategies can I take to negotiate my identity better? How I can sell myself to others so they forget about my physical appearance and judge me for my character. Is there any strategy I can use? If the answer is yes, go for it. Hope you are very successful. But in the case you find difficulties in life, my last advice is that remember, college is there. It's a good path to fight against racism in your life and in the life of others. So that will be the video, summarizing, because it was a long video today. We talk about two subjects. First thing, this negotiation of identity, the dynamics we have, and how different people can get a yes because of race when the speech is exactly the same, and how this can be overcome, and how this book Negotiation Genius from these Harvard professors talk about it, and talk about how negotiators can overcome their own racism. And the second thing, we were talking about the impact of colleges and how colleges can help communities to fight against racism, how they can help underprivileged genders and that are getting into industries that aren't very friendly towards them to thrive. University will help you, so regardless of your gender, you will thrive if you do the things right and you study hard, as they will help you to thrive in many other ways. It will help you to fight against racism in your life and in the lives of others. So that will be all, and thank you for watching. Remember to leave a like and subscribe. Watch my other videos, are very interesting. Just check the titles, and if you see something interesting, click it. I guarantee you I have very interesting stuff in my channel. As always, I'm not going to recommend my book about gurus. I'm going to recommend my book about investing, and watch my videos about investing, because that's going to be the most impactful way I can help you, okay? And if you don't want to go to college, investing is a great way of becoming independent and don't have to deal with this racism. Build a cushion. And that's the last thing, yeah. Remember to leave me in the comments if you want me to make some reviews about that book, Negotiation Genius, and other books. I think that will be a great way maybe to monetize this channel, find something that's monetizable, viral, that you like to share. Because obviously you don't like to share 40-minute videos. It's very heavy. It's not something you share with your friends. Hey, bro, go look this 40-minute video, bro. And we never do that, unless it's a great professor. And I'm still little. I'm still growing up. In that matter. So just leave me in the comments if you like me to make videos about books. And thank you very much. I hope you liked the dissertation we had today. I hope I speak up truth, and I hope I speak up things that are helpful for you. And thank you, and goodbye, and blessings, okay? Bye.